Comics are an integral part in pop culture. From Suits of Iron to Dark Knights, we all have our favorite characters and our favorite stores. Today we're here with Virgil Amaya, owner of Gotham Knight Comics, right here in Livonia. Hello and welcome to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Jeremiah Brown, the show produced by students here at Medina University.
And I'm Chris Benson. Gotham Knight Comics is a one-of-a-kind store that has people flocking to it, not only for the merchandise, like what you see here, but the wealth of knowledge that Virgil has to offer. And there's a lot of spirited conversations that take place while they're at the store. So Virgil, we're so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. This is amazing. I love what you guys are doing, and I love to celebrate anything Michigan. That's why I wore my...
I see that. We love that you coordinated with our... We were sending signals to each other.
We were all doing
I just realized
that.
we're
We're all wearing a red
accoutrement.
accoutrement. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for having me out here, and I'm glad I could nerd you guys out for a little bit. I know that's a lot.
Of course.
Let's go.
And we got all this stuff here, so how did this all begin?
Well, it's really simple, right? You know, I've been a comic fanatic since I was a kid, and I say the story because for me it was really personal. When I was younger, I was going through a lot: parents, divorce, all the good stuff, struggling to find my way in the world. Batman was a thing, right? I picked up a book when I was a kid, going through it all, and I saw this story about a young man who lost his parents and turned tragedy to purpose, and he was so focused on that, so many plans, and I loved that story, and I started falling in love with all of these stories, and it never went away. Fast forward, multiple years later, I'm a banker. I'm moving up in finance and working my way through and doing everything I can do. We lived all across, D.C., Florida, Atlanta. Came back to Michigan during the pandemic, or just before the pandemic. I got what I thought was my dream job in banking, private equity, middle market, the big stuff. And I realized that. It really opened my mind up to that this isn't my passion. It isn't something I want. There was too much. The pandemic changed how I thought, and it changed how I saw things other people didn't see because I was in healthcare at a higher level. So God gave an opportunity in my life for this to come about. I was given an opportunity. My job transferred. I didn't transfer with it, so I was given an opportunity to do this. And Gotham Knights was born. Actually, it was with my wife. She gave me the inspiration. She literally said, just go for it, right? And I was like, oh, what? What are you kidding me? Why are we doing this? And so, Gotham Knight Comics was born, and it was the idea of elevating the experience. Everybody's been to a comic store, but they all feel like closets with a lot of nerds that are very inward. They don't want to bring new people in, and the industry itself is such a mega industry, but comics are the link between what we love in the movies and everything else. And so storytellers, elevating the experience, that's what we want to do here at Gotham Knight Comics. Right now there's only one store in Michigan. There's an award called the Eisner Award. It's given to the top store in the country. Yeah. Vault of Midnight won that award.
Ann Arbor?
In Ann Arbor. They're one of the top 25 in the country. Our goal is to be the other store in Michigan to win that award, to change the game, to really make a difference and help folks get their nerd on.
And I see you have some pictures. We can look at your store and want to talk about
Absolutely.
those.
Yeah.
I'd love to. We were stalking your website earlier, if you don't mind.
Oh, no, for sure.
Oh, I love
So that's the outside of our store, and so what's awesome on that too is in the summer, we're just getting ready to start. Every Saturday night we do Livonia's only free drive-in. We simply call it Movies That Don't Suck. And so every Saturday I put a 25-foot screen out. It's inflatable. We put a great sound system, great thing. We fry free popcorn, free sodas, and all you have to do is bring a chair. And every Saturday we put a movie on, like Tron Legacy, 1986 Transformers. Awesome.
I think you just got the entire crew that'll be showing up, and us included on Saturday.
Hey, a little selfie there.
That's
I love
a selfie,
the look
yes,
of
that's
your
the inside of the store. And we put a lot of thought into the aesthetic. The aesthetic matters just as much. It has to be welcoming. Great example, women make up 55% of all comic shoppers, but they feel very uncomfortable when they walk in the stores. We wanted to create an accessible place that allowed folks to stand and linger where they wanted to, but also created a flow of traffic. And so that's us with Jay Towers. That's my indubitable League of Extraordinary Gentle Nerd, Chris.
Clearly. It looks like, look at the smiles in that picture.
That's
too.
the Monroe Pop Fest. So that was us. That was our first con that we did together. So obviously for the fact that Jay, that's what led us to being on his show, is coming over and holding Superman. He was quite impressed.
Oh, I bet. Your store, you mentioned the aesthetic in the store and the look, and what makes it different than other stores? We're familiar with some of the other ones in the area.
So for us, every detail had to matter. You had to be able to walk in, and no matter what place you are, be able to just take off a moment of your day. We focused on creating, so a lot of, for us, when you walk in, and I say a lot of stores, I don't want, because a lot of great stores out there, but for us, we really focused on providing some really awesome stuff up at the front. We focused on making every detail, every picture on the wall, our custom pictures, our signs, which are a laser cut, our TVs that have movies. We really just wanted to pay attention, and you can see by the colors, blue and yellow, it's a Batman store.
Of course.
Obviously, it's a Gotham store, but at the end of the day, one of the things I get all the time is that it's clean, it smells nice, we're very welcoming. We think about it like, again, you come in, you don't know where to start. You don't have to rummage through shelves to find a book. You just have to let us know. We don't sell to customers, we sell to friends. And that's the biggest difference in our store. Everyone that comes in is a friend, and we get to know them like a friend. That's a kind of a throwback from when I was a banker. You can't do business with clients unless they like you and your friends. You have to earn that opportunity. So that's what every customer we treat is a friend, and I've made some amazing ones doing this job.
Of course. And so right here we got Superman, Spider-Man, we got artwork, we got Funkos, we got G.I. Joe right there. What's kind of the full, selection of, niches and different stuff that your store offers?
So in a crowded market, what we decided to stake our claim on was unusual items. That was really where we were at, because the market has so many different items. You can go to Target, you can go to Amazon, we're always competing with eBay and other stores. They have a lot of items, and their stores have a lot of niches. For us, it's focusing with I built some great small supplier relationships. I built some unique supplier relationships and been able to focus on items that, things like, and I'll point over here, our sign, we have a specialty in autographed Funkos. And I know I've got someone over here who's going to be super excited. That is an Optimus signed by Optimus. That is a Kool-Aid Man signed by Kool-Aid Man.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a Jabba the Hutt signed by Jabba the Hutt.
Hold it.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a charge for that, Jeremy. No, it's
And what's unique about that, for those that don't know, Jabba, when they
Very
made
cool.
that movie, they put so much effort into the actual animatronics, they never recruited an actor. So Howie Hammerman's actually the sound engineer for Jabba the Hutt.
Awesome. Well, oh my gosh, we have to take a short break. I know the audience is like, no, we want to know more. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more with Fergal.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think, but so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Yeah, I'll do it. Me too.
Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
I want to see the world.
When you pick up a book
I used to read every night to all the younger kids.
and let your imagination break free, you won't believe how much fun it can be.
Let down your help!
Experience a world of adventure, excitement, and endless possibilities. Get tangled up in a good book. Explore new worlds. Read. Visit read.gov today.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson.
And I'm Jeremiah Brown. And today we have Fergal Amayo from Gotham Knight Comics. Now, I understand you said you live in Farmington.
Farmington Hills.
Yep. And so what about Livonia made you decide to open your store here?
Livonia is a unique market for several reasons. One, there hasn't been, the last store closed up in Livonia 10 years ago. So for most folks, there's not been a comic store here for over a decade. As a child, classic comic and collectible, and again, I'm gonna say we're close.
We are the same age. It is true.
So I grew up going to that store. It was definitely a closet, but it was my favorite closet ever. So knowing that we had a spot that was available in Livonia, it really made a difference for us. I mean, for me, it was like we're bringing something back to this community that needed it, and I'm excited to be out here and doing it. Even though we live in Farmington Hills, and I've got a 14-year-old, and I love Livonia. It's like 15 minutes up the road. I can shoot back and forth
and you're so close to campus. Like, I know that there's going to be
literally, I'm around the corner from you guys. I'm actually going to try to do some events over the summer for you guys because I know that'll be exciting. Bring a whole bunch of stuff out here. Do a movie night on campus. We'll do something.
And we have, other parts of Michigan. There's other comic stores as well. You mentioned Vault of Midnight in Ann Arbor. Comics in Plymouth.
The Great Lakes is unique. There are more concentration of comic stores in the Great Lakes than there are in almost any other part of the United States. And that's between Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. And again, part of one of the things I'm trying to do is create a franchisable opportunity. Because quite frankly, there's a lot of individual stores. We struggle. We're in the only industry, and I give you an example, Coke, when you go to a grocery store, they go and set up, they make sure they're good, they want their product sold.
Yeah.
The suppliers, they report numbers only on what they sell to the stores. They don't help the stores know what to buy. They don't help advertise for the stores. What we're trying to do is create a model that you can replicate across the country to get us to a point where we're at 40 to 50 stores. And I say that because what will end up happening is that we'll, instead of having to beg at the seat of the table, because it used to be monopolistic in terms of distributorship, now there are 2 distributors, but it's still very disjointed. So for us, creating a big enough market that they have to sit at our table and then take the advice that we're asking, because remember, one of the reasons why some of these movies don't succeed like they do is, and I reference Shazam, I reference Quantumania, and I wanted to love Quantumania. There's some great pieces of it, but there's stories to be told. We are the bridge to so many stories. People keep coming in to me, asking me about the new Superman. Who is Grant Morrison? What is these stories? We are the storytellers. We create the excitement for everyone else.
And you mentioned that, comics and kind of this one big niche kind of has a big unifying effect, not just here but everywhere. I was just this past October I was actually in Korea visiting some relatives, and I was with some cousins who don't really speak English very well, so I couldn't really communicate with them. But I was walking around their house, and in their apartment in their display case, she had a whole bunch of anime and One Piece figures in there, and I was able to be like, oh my gosh, One Piece, and she was like, One Piece. And we just started talking about
universal language.
We just started showing each other anime pics and cosplay.
That's awesome.
I really loved what you said about that earlier.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, our world gets scarier. It seems like, and I'm a father of a 14-year-old. And again, I go back to my youth. I mean, I think we had a hell of a youth. But it seems today the world has gotten more divided, more scary, more hard to deal with. And people are generally just angrier. Comics unify. And you mentioned One Piece. One Piece is actually the fastest. It just surpassed Batman as the fastest selling comic book in 3 years.
Wow.
And Batman took 80 years. There's more units of that book sold than there were of Batman. Anime is one of the fastest growing mediums in comics. But it doesn't matter. I get customers coming in who, generally in life, we may not have a thing to talk about, but when we get into a store, we created a nerd cheers bar that you could just come in and we could talk about stuff.
I love that reference.
Right, when Quantumania came out, I had my MODOK out, and I was like, that's not MODOK. That's not MODOK, guys. That's not MODOK. This is MODOK.
People are flocking to the store. We need to talk. We need to talk
Everybody's
about
asking me about Kang, because I'm so excited if they get it right. And I think that the DC stories, I'm so excited for Flash. And without giving away spoilers, you guys, even though there's a lot of craziness in there, you guys are going to be equally as excited about Flash because of the things that are sideways to Flash, which is going to make that movie amazing, right? And then you're going to come back and you're going to say, well, tell me more about these stories. And that's what we're going to be able to do.
Well, you're passionate about all of these things, but I have to ask you, do you have a favorite? Is there something that's really...
So in this entire section, well, I will tell you, I'm a G.I. Joe fanatic. I always point to my little G.I. Joe tattoo. That's
nice.
That's a Rashikage. I always said to my mom I was either going to be a business owner or a ninja. And the ninja thing is still on the back burner. I may end up going
Still
the
on the
ninja
table.
route.
We'll
It's still
see.
on the
Well, stay
table.
tuned.
It's still out there. But for right now, there's so many favorite things that I have. I mean, probably right now, this is one of my favorite books. And I'll show you two things that are my favorite, this book and this picture. And they're so unique. So I always go for the very unique items. This particular book is, there are often these variant covers. I'll start with this one. A lot of artists do homage covers, but very few are authorized by Marvel Presidency. So that's a very unique thing. This is one of only 2,500 offered and signed by the head of Marvel. And it's a unique NYC Comic-Con cover. And it's Spider-Man Sins of Osborn, signed by the artist. It is gorgeous. There's only 7 of these available online on eBay to buy right now. The other thing that I'm absolutely partial to, there are only 2 of these in known existence. So anyone who's a Frank Miller fan, I mean, Dark Knight, any type of story like that, Klaus Janson was his longtime 20-plus year colorist. This is signed and drawn by Klaus Janson.
Oh, that's amazing.
So this is the Dark Knight. This is how that should have looked like, Batman versus Superman. So you got the embossed, you got a signature. There's only 2 of these, and I work with a gallery in New York. I'm the only one that work with these guys, and I get stuff like all kinds of unique signed art that you just can't find elsewhere.
And I know that the Power Ranger one you brought in is awesome.
I mean, the movie's coming out, the show is coming on Netflix. I'm gonna just put this out there. This is signed by not 1, but 2 Red Rangers. So when anyone from our college days, because I was in college once too, and we used to race home to watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and eat our Hot Pockets. So when we did that, we always watched Power Rangers. So it's signed by both Red Rangers. I mean, this is nerd stuff right here.
It is. It is.
And for the old fan, this is actually one of the top 25 grails. So this is actually Amazing Spider-Man number 23. What I would be holding if this were a 9.8 would be a $110,000 book. This book would be enough to pay off someone's mortgage.
Well, my gosh, again, there's so much energy on this show, but we have to take a break. We're going to be right back. We know you're not going anywhere.
Stay tuned to find out more about Gotham City Knights and all of their amazing comics.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Maria, so how's work?
It was 4th period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bell and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Yo, check out this chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those hands.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Jeremiah Brown. As you can see, the conversation with Fergal is doesn't end during the breaks.
Oh no, it knows no bounds. I'm Chris Benson again. Fergal from Gotham Knight Comics. I have to ask you about the name.
Gotham Knight or Fergal?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Well, so Fergal, let's start there. I'm Irish and African, so I'll say it out loud. I was Obama before he made it cool. Let me just put that out there because I really was. I'm one of 5 brothers. They're all named Jeffrey, Jonathan, Timothy, Stephen, and Jeremy. And obviously I have a name like Fergal, so that just means like Ricky Bobby. I'm either first or the last. It's a very old Irish name. I'm connected with all of them. There are only 6 of them in the world right now on LinkedIn, and I'm friends with all of them.
Amazing.
The name of the store, Gotham, originally my store was Super Friends Comics and Collectibles, so that was a lot of words. And amazingly, as I was thinking about a name, because my wife was like, that is just too much of a name. And so I was going back to the thought process, and I honestly would never have thought this name would be available. And I was thinking about Gotham because it was all about Batman and all about the concept. And I was like, let me look it up. And I looked it up, and it was open. And I was like, no.
Click. Mine.
Done, bought. And we do our own merchandise. So
that's awesome.
Part of our goal is to build our brand first. And that's a big deal with franchise, right?
Yeah.
It's a multi-sensorial experience, but you have to start with the brand. And if you build that strong enough, the rest of it can fall behind that. So Gotham Knight Comics, as I mentioned, we're doing small cons right now. Our goal is to get to San Diego, to NYC. We're actually, hopefully, when I do NYC, which will be which is the New York City Comic Con, second largest in the country. We want to do a little documentary. Chris and I were just talking about that. Gotham and Gotham, because New York is Gotham, so we're going to try to do a little vlog with that, Gotham Knight and Gotham. So it's just a whole lot going on, and we're trying to change it. Like I said, we're just trying to change the game. Go ahead.
And you mentioned your ultimate goal, however, is San Diego.
Oh yeah. I want to stand on Hall H and win the Eisner. That's it. Where Kevin Feige announces all of his runs.
There you go.
And so to be at San Diego Comic Con, to give you an idea, they sold out of 130,000 tickets in 9 minutes online. So just to be able to get, again, if you're thinking about 130,000 tickets going in 9 minutes at $500 a ticket. That's the show.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You were holding up one of your shirts, and you guys actually do custom printed shirts.
We
correct?
certainly do.
Yeah.
We focus on, and you'll see if you kind of pan over to that, there's a shirt right over there, that X-Men. We focus on unique that's one of my small suppliers. There are a lot of shirts you can get at Amazon and eBay, on Target, and again, go to Kohl's. We want to get those shirts that characters like Cable, Wakanda Forever. We're getting a whole new run of shirts with like Psylocke, the Spider-Verse. I've got 29.9 Spider-Man shirts coming in that are very unique. I've got an awesome Spider-Verse shirt coming in. So we try to focus on things that when someone wears it, the first thing you got to ask is, where'd you get that?
Where did you get
that? And that's our goal. Everything we sell, I have to think about the concept of, where'd you get that? How awesome is that? And so that's kind of what we try to do.
If you don't mind me asking, do you guys have any Avatar Last Airbender merch right now?
Not yet, but listen, I've gotten someone who's asked me about Lord of the Rings Avatar. So Avatar is awesome, and Zuko and the whole idea and the remaking that process. So we will be adding those. It's quality. We just start adding Pokemon, but again, as we move through, I had to teach myself. I've got to understand the quality, and then make sure we bring in those unique products, those unique trainer packs. So same with Avatar. I love the show. It's a great show. The concept of it's amazing.
And your manager Chris said you're kind of going into the more gaming side of comics too, as well. Would you like to elaborate on that more?
So we're looking at adding things like the Warhammer. We're looking at adding things like what is that? Oh gosh, it's Warhammers, Pokemon for sure. I know there's a ton of other gamings that we're looking to add, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to build out and expand on the game piece. We want to do game nights. We want to do a lot of community nights. So we're going to try, as the summer months come on, to do some outdoor gaming. Enjoy. We can kind of coincide that with our movie nights and just do some things like that. So.
And it sounds like, what I get from you, I have to say, it's about I know you love this stuff. I can just feel that. But it's about creating an experience and
it's
community.
Always going to be about creating experience. I tell my staff, and Chris will know this, and my wife knows this, and my other folks that work there know this. To me, it's almost less important whether or not a client buys something than how they feel when they leave. Because again, when you come into our store, I don't know what happened to you outside of that door. But when you come out, I want to smile. And if I can get that smile, not only have I potentially earned your business, but I've also earned a friend. And a friend will always come back because folks are in search of places that get them their smile. And you know, with all the tragedies that recently struck, that's why we're working on our nonprofit comic book, because we want to create a comic that allows folks to, I have a son. How do you talk about this stuff? Superheroes are a great segue to get folks to talk about their emotions. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've got multiple publishers interested in that, multiple artists and writers that are willing to donate their time to create this book that we can create for all ages to allow folks to talk about these types of things and get those emotions out.
Of course. And before we, get into talking about more about these, if people are interested in your store and interested about kind of looking at what you have to offer, maybe ordering from you guys, where can they go to find that information?
Oh, they can go to comicbooklivonia.com. They can come see your prodigious proprietor, Fergal Amaya, over at Gotham Nights at 376615 Mile Road. That would be behind the donut store, in case for those folks that want to get a donut first.
Hey.
Or if you want to work off that donut next to the gym place, or if you want to send a package next to the UPS store. So we're right in that amazing middle where you got to visit us, whether you're sending a package, working out, or getting a donut. And if you're feeling funny, you want to get that Dollar Tree, we're right next door. So we're right there in Livonia, comicbooklivonia.com. We're going to be changing out our website and creating Gotham Knight Comics, so we're in the process of doing that. We're going to do a lot of pre-orders, a lot of orders online. We're also lucky enough to be able to start working with one of the major dealers. You guys might not be aware, but there's a documentary coming around called Selling Superman. Have you heard about this? It's been getting a lot of press lately. So it's a unique story, and I say that because the father in that story has the second highest rated Superman on the planet. That's an $8 million book all day. And he's selecting dealers, and one of my buddies is actually one of the dealers. So we're going to be hopefully working through some of those things as well. So you make a lot of friends out here, but my goal is to make more friends and create an experience with everybody.
I'm so excited for you guys.
We are so glad we met you, Fergal. And there you have it. I don't even know how to wrap this up. I will just say thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Chris Benson.
And I'm Jeremiah Brown. Thank you so much to our viewers for joining us on another great episode of Celebrate Michigan, where we celebrate all things in the Mitten State. See you next time.
Get your nerd on, y'all.